golf included, but that sport's about to lose a major name. Nike has announced it will stop selling golf equipment, from clubs to balls and bags. Now, this decision means that two of golf's biggest names, Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, will be shopping around for new clubs.
2016, the year Nike walked away from golf. Overnight, Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Brooks Koepka lost their equipment deals. Clubs vanished. Contracts dissolved. A billion-dollar empire disappeared without warning. What followed was chaos, as the world's biggest stars scrambled to rebuild their careers, and the sport itself struggled to find balance after Nike's stunning exit. Nike announced on Wednesday, August 3, 2016, that it was getting out of the golf equipment business, ditching any future in clubs, balls, and golf bags. We're committed to being the undisputed leader in golf footwear and apparel, Nike brand president Trevor Edwards said in a statement. We will achieve this by investing in performance innovation for athletes and delivering sustainable, profitable growth for Nike Golf. Nike Golf finished fiscal 2016 with $706 million in revenue, its worst year since 2011, when the division generated $623 million. The company had struggled for years to compete with established brands like Callaway, TaylorMade, and Titleist. Despite massive investments in research and development, Nike never captured more than 5% of the equipment market. Sales in 2013 and 2014 had been nearly $800 million, but the decline was steep and irreversible. Nike spokesman Brian Strong said the company had no plans to sell its golf equipment business as part of the transition, and that where there were products being made, production would continue to completion over the next few months. The timing caught everyone off guard. Days before the announcement, Nike had slashed prices on its 2016 club line. $400 Vaporfly drivers dropped to $150. $250 fairway woods fell to $100. Dick's Sporting Goods was discounting Nike clubs by up to 60% online on the day of the announcement. The news rocked the industry. Nike staffers, including Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods, were informed just prior to the company's press release. With one announcement, McIlroy, Woods, Brooks Koepka, and the rest of Nike's tour staff became equipment free agents. Their contracts required them to wear Nike apparel and shoes, but they could now use any clubs or balls they wanted. Nike's prime golf endorsers had struggled in recent years. Tiger Woods had not played for an entire year and missed cuts at 3 of the 4 majors in 2015. Winners of the past 8 majors were not Nike endorsers, the longest drought since a 9-major run from 2003 to 2004. The company had bet heavily on Woods since his professional debut in 1996 with the Hello World advertisement. It signed Rory McIlroy in a splashy announcement in Abu Dhabi to start the 2013 season, reportedly worth $100 million over 5 years. Despite the star power, major championships continued eluding Nike equipment. Nike entered the golf ball business in 2000 and the golf club business in 2001. David Duval won the 2001 British Open using Nike equipment, the first major victory for the brand. But success remained elusive. Phil Mickelson caused a stir when he told Golf Magazine that Woods had inferior clubs and said he was the only player good enough to overcome the equipment he stuck with. The criticism stung because it came from a rival who understood equipment performance at the highest level. Mark Steinberg, Woods' agent, would not disclose what Nike's exit from the equipment business would mean for Woods financially. He's been the most loyal ambassador and longest standing for Nike Golf. That doesn't change, Steinberg said in a telephone interview. It just means he'll likely have some different equipment in the bag, whether that's tomorrow, next month, or a year from now. Tiger and I have been talking about this the last couple of days. We have a very sophisticated, legitimate plan in place, and we're going to see it through. The announcement came 3 months after Nike's competitor Adidas said it would enter into negotiations to sell off its golf division, including TaylorMade, Adams, and Ashworth. In 2014, after years of too many products in the marketplace and heavy discounting, Dick's Sporting Goods had laid off more than 500 of its in-store PGA professionals. The golf equipment industry was contracting, and Nike was the latest casualty. Bob Fillion, president of Nike competitor Cobra Puma, called Nike's announcement surprising, adding that, "At Cobra Puma Golf, we believe we have the right strategies to continue playing offense while others are clearly playing defense." Golf club manufacturer Mizuno tweeted that it would hold open tryouts for Nike endorsers, tagging Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, and Michelle Wie. The scramble for talent began immediately. Brooks Koepka was in the middle of his best season when Nike pulled out. His agent Blake Smith at Hambrick Sports Management said Koepka was happy with his equipment. "I don't think he'll be in any rush at all to jump ship," Smith said. "He's got a bunch of tournaments coming up that are very important." Koepka tied for fourth at the PGA Championship days before Nike's announcement and was positioned to make his first Ryder Cup team. Tony Finau, another Nike staff player, understood the business reality. "I totally understand it from their perspective," he said. "They're killing it in apparel. They're killing it in footwear. It's just business." But Finau admitted uncertainty about his future. "I don't know exactly what it's going to mean for contracts, but it's pretty likely that this time next year I won't be playing Nike clubs." McIlroy, who played 14 Nike clubs for almost the entirety of his contract, moved quickly. He added a Scotty Cameron Concept M1 mallet putter at the Barclays before going on to win the season-long FedEx Cup title. He later used TaylorMade M2 woods at the HSBC Champions Tournament in China. McIlroy insisted at the Barclays that he wanted to build his own bag setup and do it alone without an equipment deal for at least a year or two. Most Nike players gravitated toward TaylorMade woods. The M2 driver and fairway woods proved especially popular. Koepka put the M2 driver into action at the Ryder Cup. Francesco Molinari and Thorbjorn Olesen both used TaylorMade woods. Paul Casey made the switch as well. When Koepka was asked why he chose the M2, he said he hit it further than any other driver. Rory, Paul Casey, and Tiger all said the same thing. The situation suited players who suddenly had equipment freedom while still collecting Nike paychecks. They were getting paid by Nike, but were free to experiment with different equipment. It would not be beyond possibility that provisional deals with brands had been already agreed in principle, but not with McIlroy, who enjoyed testing clubs without contractual obligations. The college golf world felt the impact immediately. Nike had sponsored several top programs, including Oregon. Coaches reassured players that Nike would not be pulling back budget-wise on apparel and shoes. The company disclosed plans to partner with more of the world's best golfers for clothing and footwear. But college players who had relied on Nike clubs and balls now had to find new equipment mid-season. Retailers faced chaos. Nike's liquidation plan remained unclear. Stores had inventory they could not restock. Sales representatives and teaching professionals who had built businesses around Nike equipment suddenly had no products to sell. Distributors scrambled to find alternative brands for customers who had been fitted for Nike clubs. The entire supply chain collapsed within weeks. The broader consequences reshaped golf's commercial landscape. Nike's exit signaled that even brands with unlimited resources and the sport's biggest stars could not compete in equipment without decades of credibility and market share. The fusion of fashion, performance, and personality that Nike had brought to golf ended abruptly. No longer would Volt-colored drivers and RZN balls dominate tour coverage. Sponsorship deals changed fundamentally. Players realized that equipment contracts required performance, not just star power. Brands became more selective about signing athletes. The days of paying massive guarantees to players who could not deliver major championships were over. Equipment companies demanded results, not potential. Brand loyalty eroded among consumers. Golfers who had purchased Nike clubs because Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy used them felt abandoned. They owned equipment that would never be updated or improved. No new models would arrive. No technological advances would trickle down. Their clubs were relics the moment Nike announced its exit. The modern commercial reset had begun. Golf equipment became a brutally competitive business where only the strongest brands survived. Adidas sold TaylorMade in 2017. Callaway acquired brands and consolidated market share. Titleist and Ping remained independent and profitable. The industry contracted to a handful of companies that could sustain investment in research, manufacturing, and tour support. Nike continued sponsoring golfers for apparel and shoes, but the era of Nike Golf as a complete equipment manufacturer was finished. Tiger Woods eventually signed an apparel deal with TaylorMade in 2017, creating his TW brand. Rory McIlroy signed a club deal with TaylorMade in 2017 after testing equipment independently. Brooks Koepka became a Srixon staff player in 2021, ending his years as an equipment free agent. The decision Nike made on August 3, 2016, changed golf forever. It proved that star power alone could not build an equipment empire. It forced an entire generation of professionals to adapt mid-career, switching clubs and balls while competing at the highest level. It ended Nike's 16-year run in golf equipment and marked the beginning of a new era where performance and credibility mattered more than marketing budgets and celebrity endorsements.